What if you could become a better person, not by working harder, but by taking one small step a day? And not because you're a bad person now, but because there's something inside you that's ready for more. How to be a better person gives you one tiny step a day you can take to be the person you want to be. My mission? To help you live your best life. Hey there, it's Kate, and this is How to Be a Better Person. Today's Friday when I talk about finances. And today I want to talk about what to do before you head out to the store or open up your browser to go shopping online to replace something that needs fixing. First, I'm going to start with a little story. I once hired a stylist to come to my house, go through my closet, and help me figure out what clothes looked good together and, more importantly, looked good on me. It was super helpful because I don't naturally excel in the style department, and style was very important in my family growing up. So it felt nice to have someone objective helping me out. The only thing that rang false to me was when we were looking at my long-sleeve t-shirts, one navy, one black, that are great for wearing under things. That's when the stylist said, "Oh, this one has a hole in it. It needs to go." Record scratch. First of all, I could barely see the danged hole. I mean, I get what she's saying. It doesn't send a great message about how well you take care of yourself to wear clothes that have holes or stains. But this hole was so tiny and way up high in the back. Also, it was a great shirt. It fit perfectly, and it was for wearing under things. I went along with her in the moment and put it in the to-go pile. But after she left, I got out my needle and thread and sewed it up. I didn't do a particularly artful job as my sewing is only passable. It gets the job done, but it's certainly not artful. But guess what? 3 years later, and I've still got and still wear that t-shirt. And I still love it. And that's what today's tip is all about, to repair something that needs fixing instead of replacing it. You don't need mad skills to do a lot of repairs. I love using those iron-on patches on the knees of my kids' pants. I mean, it really could not be simpler to use those. Of course, there are some things that are really beyond my scope. For example, the one year we bought my son a nice new winter coat instead of giving him a hand-me-down or buying one at a thrift shop, he caught his sleeve on a sticker bush the very next day and tore a hole that feathers promptly started flying out of. I asked my mother-in-law to fix that one because she is a crack seamstress and quilter. She stitched it right up, but you'd never know it now by looking at it. Believe me, if I had sewn it, that sleeve would have a Frankenstein scar of stitches on it. Something else I mended recently was an air mattress that had a slow leak. It was kind of a pain, I admit. We had to spread it out on the back porch, and my husband read, or probably now that I'm thinking about it, he watched a YouTube video, as YouTube is a treasure trove of how-to information, about how to find the leak. To do it, you put a thin layer of soapy water over the surface, and then a bubble will form where the air is leaking out. Pretty genius, right? Anyway, we found the leak, and then I used a patching kit I got at the bike shop and patched that sucker up, and it works. Your repair efforts won't always be a success. I tried the same patching technique with a plastic inflatable pool that, alas, started sagging again later that very same day that I repaired it. But hey, at least I tried. It helped me feel at least a tiny bit better about putting that huge wad of plastic in the trash. Ugh. Mending something instead of throwing it out and replacing it takes exponentially fewer resources than buying a whole new thing. The old thing doesn't have to take up space in the landfill. And it also saves you money because you don't have to go out and buy the new thing. These benefits are pretty clear. But there's something else good that happens, and that's really important too, when you repair instead of replace. And that is, when you repair something that needs fixing, you put extra love into it. Now when I look at Teddy's winter coat, I don't just see the logo of the company that made it or the color of the coat. I see my mother-in-law carefully stitching it back together. It makes that coat more meaningful, more special. There's a Japanese custom called kintsugi. I hope I'm saying that right. It translates as golden repair, where they use a lacquer that's been dusted with gold to repair broken pottery. It leaves these gorgeous golden seams running throughout the bowl, for example, and it shows the beauty and the strength of mended things. So just keep that in mind. You don't need to hide your repairs. You can even make them a new addition to the overall look and maybe use contrasting thread. I think it sends a lovely message about accepting ourselves and others as we are, with our scars. So this weekend, when you rummage through your stuff in search of something you need, if that thing is in need of mending, I hope that hearing this podcast will help inspire you to do your best to repair it instead of chucking it and heading out on an errand to replace it. I think you'll love how gratifying it is to make something usable again. Thanks for listening to How to Be a Better Person. Our theme song is Left for Deadish by Junior85. The podcast is mixed by Sound Advice Strategies. If you liked what you heard in this episode, share it with someone you think would like it too. Your voice matters. Also, How to Be a Better Person has an official newsletter that sends the past 7 episodes, a sneak peek of the week ahead, and one well-chosen meme to your inbox every Saturday morning. Sign up at beabetterpersonpodcast.com and click on Get Podcast News. I also love to hear from listeners. I love it. Send me an email by clicking on the Contact Kate button at beabetterpersonpodcast.com, tweet me at Kate Han, Katehan, or find me on Instagram at Kate Hanley Author. I look forward to connecting with you.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.